Viewers, yesterday I told you about massive mobilization of Ethiopian National Defense Force near A2 highway close to Dassi city. So now there is no doubt that a new attack on TDF, perhaps a human wave attack on TDF positions in Amhara is being planned. What is TDF's planning? How is TDF going to defend from this new phase of attacks from Ethiopian National Defense Force and regional forces? Firstly, viewers, yesterday in the video I told you about large-scale deployments close to Dassi, deployments of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Some of you said, Sajid, you always talk of new offensive, new offensive. It has been happening for the last 10 months. It's not something new. Well, if new offensives have been happening since November, that is why this war has been going on. So there has been new offensives, there have been new offensives in the past. If Ethiopian government is planning another offensive on Tigray or on TDF, it's part of war. It will keep on happening, and I'll keep on reporting what they're planning, what they're doing. But you'll see new offensives if this war goes on. Now, international news outlets covered the deployments of Ethiopian National Defense Force close to Dassi. So it has been almost confirmed now that there is massive mobilization of Ethiopian National Defense Force and Amhara regional forces close to Dassi. What is ENDF planning on Dassi-Wuldia fronts, and what is TDF's counter planning? Well, on Dassi Wuldia fronts, a multi-pronged attack is being planned by Ethiopian National Defense Force, supported by drone strikes. Reportedly, from Dassi side, from Kambolja, Dassi side, Ethiopian National Defense Force soldiers will move along A2 highway towards Marsa, Vichale, Wuldia. From eastern side, from a far side of the border, afar regional forces and perhaps Eritreans could also join. We could see movement along Bati Kambolja road. We could see movement from Shifra towards Wuldia. Then movement from the west towards Wuldia. We have seen several attacks from Ambasal, Wareda, from Gashina side on Wuldia. But Wuldia is still under Tigray Defense Force. So from three sides, from Ambasal, from Afar, and from Dassi side, a multi-pronged offensive on Wuldia, Vichale, and Marsa is being planned by ENDF. Heavy airstrikes and drone strikes are expected. What will TDF do on this front? Firstly, on this front, TDF is trying to consolidate its positions in mountainous areas. We know that close to Dassi, to the west of Dassi, to the west of Vichale, there are high mountains. Yesterday I told you about a monastery taken by TDF. According to TPLF sources, the monastery is on top of a mountain, 3,000 meters tall mountain. So TDF is trying to take control of strategic positions on mountains, in mountainous areas, firstly. Secondly, TDF will not withdraw from Wuldia. If TDF is in Wuldia, it means that ENDF Amhara forces will not be able to shell Voldia. They will not be able to carry out airstrikes on Voldia, and they wouldn't carry out any drone strikes as well if the drones do not have precision striking capability. TDF will not withdraw from Voldia. We could see urban combat in Voldia, and we could see fighting to the west and east of Voldia in mountainous areas, especially to the west of Voldia, to the west of Dasi, where there are high mountains. What about Tigray Afar border? Because on that front too, we have seen Ethiopian National Defense Force trying to enter Tigray. In fact, they made some gains. They tried to move towards Mekelle, then they had to withdraw, and fighting was going on in Abala on Tigray Afar border. Here we have received some reports that two types of strategies are being implemented by Tigray Defense Force. Firstly, on Tigray Afar border, TDF is trying to confront these forces before they enter Tigray. We have seen TDF moving into Abala. We have seen TDF moving into Birhale. So TDF is trying to prevent their entry into Tigray. First strategy. Second strategy is that TDF is making some defensive preparations as well. Reportedly, TDF's weaponry, heavy weaponry, TDF units, they are being shifted to mountainous areas to the west and north of Mekelle, northwest of Mekelle, in Viralta mountains and other mountains in central Tigray. We have seen some movements. Tigray Defense Force is making preparations in case of another attack on Tigray, which could happen. That is why movement of heavy weapons, movement of TDF units is being reported in central Tigray. This time we have seen in November, in December, in January, February, March, that central Tigray remained the power base of Tigray Defense Force. Despite several attempts, Eritrean forces, ENDF, could not take complete control of central Tigray. So once again, we are seeing preparations from Tigray Defense Force in central Tigray. They want to be prepared this time in case of a full-scale offensive on Tigray by ENDF and Eritrean forces. Lastly, viewers, it's very difficult to know exact strategy of ENDF and TDF. Armies don't disclose their strategies. They always keep it hidden. So we try our best by talking to ground sources, by keeping in view past incidents. So we try to join pieces and try to make a picture. It might not be 100% correct because, as I said earlier, it's difficult to know the exact strategy of any military operating anywhere in the world. You can only speculate based on experience, based on some sources, based on previous practices. So what we have learned so far is that TDF is not only planning to defend Tigray on Tigray borders, but it is making defensive preparations in central Tigray as well. In Amhara region, it will try to consolidate its positions in mountainous areas close to in North Gondar, in South and North Wollo, At the same time, TDF will try to remain in control of urban areas where it won't be possible for ENDF to launch heavy airstrikes. I think 4G.